You won't believe this psychological trick to get someone to like you more. Plus, you'll never guess which African animal can run faster than Usain Bolt, nor how many songs Elvis Presley wrote. Keep watching for answers to these questions and more. 1. A person that is twice the weight of another person doesn't need twice as much food. They only need 75% more. This is known as superlinear scaling and reflects that larger people and animals are generally more efficient at utilizing energy. 2. In 1939, UC Berkeley graduate student George Bernard Dantzig arrived late to a statistics class and mistook two famous unsolved problems for homework. He solved them, only discovering weeks later that they were actually open problems considered unsolvable by leading statisticians. 3. Mice live about 3 years, and elephants can live into their 80s, but both get about 1 billion heartbeats in their lifetime. In fact, almost all mammals have about 1 billion heartbeats throughout their life. They just use them at a different pace. For instance, mice have a rapid heartbeat, while the heartbeat's slow for an elephant. Human beings are the exception. We get about 3 billion heartbeats in our lifetime, thanks in large part to advancements in modern medicine. 4. Thanks to the reduction of ozone-depleting substances like chlorofluorocarbons, Earth's ozone layer is projected to recover by 2066 in Antarctica, and much sooner in other regions, 2045 for the Arctic and 2040 for the rest of the world. This positive development will safeguard the planet from harmful UV radiation. 5. No engineers survived the sinking Titanic. Had the engineers abandoned their post, the Titanic would have sunk much faster than it did and killed far more people. 6. The World Wide Web was created by Tim Berners-Lee, who had the idea in 1989. He decided not to patent the idea, insisting instead on a license-free technology. If the www. And websites had been patented, the world would likely be operating on dozens of different webs today, all incompatible with one another. 7. Despite being one of the world's most famous singers, Elvis Presley reportedly didn't write a single song. He's credited as co-writing a number of songs, although that's likely because his label often demanded that songwriters give up 50% of the credit before Presley would record it. 8. Color is the visible spectrum of light waves. In other words, when we see color, we're seeing light waves at various points along a spectrum which are processed by cones in our eyes. Those signals are then sent to the brain's visual cortex for interpretation. 9. The clitoris is the only organ in the human body that exists solely for sexual pleasure. 10. The Leaning Tower of Pisa may owe its survival to war. Ongoing conflicts between Pisa and neighboring cities delayed construction for about a century, giving the tower's clay, sand, and shell foundation time to settle and stabilize, likely preventing its collapse. 11. Joseph Mengele, the infamous Nazi war criminal known as the Angel of Death, died in February 1979. He suffered a stroke while swimming, no pun intended, and drowned off the coast of Sao Paulo in Brazil. He was buried in a grave with the name Wolfgang Gerard, one of his many aliases. 12. The moon is moving away from Earth by about 3.8 centimeters per year. This is caused by tidal acceleration. As the moon orbits Earth, its gravitational forces create tidal bulges in the ocean, which creates a drag and slows down Earth's rate of spin. To counteract that, the moon's orbit speeds up, which moves it further away from Earth, according to Science Focus. 13. Hippopotamus weigh up to 3 tons, yet can still run almost 50 kilometers per hour, 30 miles per hour. That's faster than Usain Bolt's top speed, which was 44.7 kilometers per hour, according to Olympic records. 14. According to estimates by the United States, 75 million people will become urbanized every year until 2050. Here's another way to think about that stat. Over the next 27 years, the equivalent of 9 times the population of New York City will move to a big city every single year. 15. Relative strength becomes progressively weaker as size increases. That's why ants can lift loads that are dozens, or in some cases hundreds of times their own body weight. But why most humans can't bench press more than their own body weight. 16. Eric Kilburn Jr. is a 6-foot, 10-inch, 14-year-old footballer with a size 23 shoe. He wears a bigger shoe than Shaquille O'Neal, who wears a 22. 17. The 3-point seatbelt is estimated to have saved more than 1 million lives since its invention in 1959. 18. J.K. Rowling's pitch for Harry Potter was rejected by 12 different publishers before being picked up by Bloomsbury. 19. While approximately 10% of humans are left-handed, most other animals show a 50-50 split between right or left. 20. Furthermore, left-handedness skews towards males. For every 4 women left-handers, there are 5 male left-handers. 21. Neil Diamond's song, Sweet Caroline, was actually about his then-wife, Marcia, but he needed a 3-syllable name and couldn't find a way to make Marcia rhyme, so used Caroline instead. The name Caroline was inspired by Caroline Kennedy, the daughter of late US President John F. Kennedy, after he saw a sweet, innocent photo of her. 22. Up to 20% of ADHD cases may be misdiagnosed. One study found that children born in December and regions with a December 31st school cutoff are more likely to receive an ADHD diagnosis and treatment. This suggests that ADHD diagnosis may not solely rely on biological factors, but may also be influenced by subjective factors, such as developmental maturity relative to peers. 23. On average, lesbian women experience orgasms more regularly than do straight women. According to a study by Justin Garcia et al. In 2014, 25% of lesbian women say they climax during every sexual encounter, and almost half say they experienced an orgasm more than 75% of the time. If you haven't already, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. 24. Goosebumps were given that name because when a person has goosebumps, their skin takes on the appearance and texture of a bird that has been plucked. 25. The word atmosphere is Greek for globe of vapor. 26. Polar bears have been known to swim up to 100 kilometers at a time. They can typically swim at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. 27. Humans get 20 baby teeth and then 32 adult teeth for a total of 52 in your life. 28. It is expected to take at least 20,000 years before the reactor site at Chernobyl, Ukraine becomes safe again following the nuclear disaster in April 1986. 29. Hyundai's logo looks just like the letter H at first glance, but there's much more to it. The slanted H offers the silhouette of 2 people shaking hands to signify trust and customer satisfaction. 30. Major Claude Eartherly, who authorized the bombing of Hiroshima in 1945, later became a prominent anti-nuclear symbol. He exposed regret for his involvement, making him one of the few involved to do so. Many Japanese citizens saw him as a victim of war, just like themselves. 31. African elephants have a life expectancy of approximately 60 to 70 years. They are most vulnerable within their first year of life, with approximately 30% mortality rate during that year. 32. A US woman was fatally mauled by 7 sausage dogs in 2018. None of those dogs had legs longer than a human hand, and none were heavier than 18 kilograms. 33. Babies are born with between 270 and 300 bones. Over time, many fuse together to form new bones, with the typical adult having 206 bones. 34. The word mendacious means to have a lying or false character. 35. Accuracy and precision are different from one another. Accuracy refers to how close a value is to its true value, like a dart hitting bullseye. Precision refers to the repeatability of that measurement, that is, whether a second and third dart thrown hit the board near the first dart, regardless of where on the board the first dart hit. 36. The remains of King Richard III, who ruled the United Kingdom between 1483 and 1485, were found under a Leicester car park in 2012. Philippa Langley, who led the investigation, visited Leicester in 2014 and felt drawn to explore a nearby car park, where the discovery was eventually made. 37. 21 of the world's 25 most venomous snakes are found in Australia. 38. A man recently received a court order to stop donating to sperm banks based on the suspicion he has fathered over 550 children. Unfortunately, the children that he has fathered risk unwittingly having relations with a half-sibling in the future. 39. The Snake River in the US is not home to any snakes. Its name is thought to stem from a misinterpreted S-shaped hand signal by Native Americans, which early European explorers mistook as a snake warning. The hand signal was likely intended to mean the people who live near the river with many fish. 40. Liverpool Football Club from the English Premier League bought the top mast of the Great Eastern. one of the world's first great iron ships, to use as a flagpole when founding their Anfield Stadium in 1891. The ship was being broken up, so Liverpool purchased the mast, which still stands at the stadium today. 41. Edward Strutt, who co-founded Strutt & Parker, one of the UK's largest property management firms, was the brother of Lord Rayleigh, who came up with the equation that showed why the sky is blue. Lord Rayleigh also discovered the element argon in 1894. 42. A feral cat has a lifespan of approximately 5.6 years, according to Catster. That compares to domesticated cats who can live to 15 or 20 years. This is largely due to vaccinations against disease, sterilization, and a good and regular diet. 43. For the movie Fury, Shia LaBeouf scarred his own face and removed a healthy tooth to make his character seem more realistic. 44. The Oscar-winning movie Good Will Hunting, which starred Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, was actually also written by those two actors. 45. The X chromosome in humans doesn't actually look like an X, but rather an O-shaped blob. Sometimes it looks like the familiar X shape, but that's only when it's about to split apart. 46. The Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. It's about an eighth of the size of New York's Central Park. 47. The world's quietest room is almost unbearable to be in. Inside the room, located in Minneapolis, you can hear your own heart beating and even the sound of your own lungs. In fact, sound recorded in the room measures in negative decibels. 48. At rest, the average human produces around 100 watts of power. While the bulk of this energy is required for vital bodily tasks, such as pumping your heart, much is wasted as heat. This heat can be converted to create electricity, which could one day allow you to charge your smartphone or watch without an alternative power source. 49. Cars were initially referred to as a horseless carriage. The term was used to refer to the early automobiles because cars were a new and unfamiliar technology, and people were used to traveling in carriages pulled by horses. It's akin to calling a new type of smartphone a wireless telegraph. 50. Want to get someone to like you more? Ask them to do you a favor. This psychological trick is known as the Benjamin Franklin effect, in which people develop positive feelings towards someone after they have done a favor for them. In doing a favor for someone, our brain tries to justify our helpful behavior by believing that we must have liked the person all along. After all, what rational person would do something for someone they don't like, leading to increased positive feelings towards them? It might seem counterintuitive, but it works. Thanks for watching, and remember to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Until next time, peace.